Wow, look where these players are positioned on the map. I don't know if the south of the map is really going to matter here. We've got 1170-ish elo between these two. I say ish because I don't know the exact number. I remembered some of the specifics. And we've got 1v1 Arabia. Looks like Falco here, poor player, forgot to finish the houses before coming back to the TC. Happens to the best of us, right? Ruining and unfortunately forgetting to shift queue the units. But in the blue, we've got Ethiopians, Falco, and then in the red, we've got, bear with me, Aliskandar. That's not bad. Aliskandar is playing as the Aztecs. I was just saying that of these two civilizations, you do see quite a bit of it at higher elos. I've always felt like the Ethiopians are an interesting little counter, or have the ability to counter Aztecs more than other civilizations might. It's, unfortunately, a civilization, the Ethiopians, that is very one-sided with archer play. And oftentimes, if their archers aren't working, they can't really accomplish too much. At least that's the feel for me. Their cavalry is very weak. I could go down the list of reasons why, because otherwise, maybe they're a bit slow. But if you go archers in this matchup, and then the Aztec player ends up into skirmisher or eagle, which are two great options for the Aztecs, we might, and I don't want to get you too excited, see the Shotel warrior. And that's a maybe. There have been instances in the past. Now, that's just the first thing that came to mind. Gold is over here on the hill. That'll be something that the Aztec player will need to secure. Other gold is way over here, and then the others on this side. So the gold is spread throughout the map. Berries is pretty far forward. And then for Falco, Falco has, 2 golds in the back, which would be nice for later on in the game. Also the stones on the backside. And then same situation where the main gold and then the berries are in more of an awkward position. I really like the Ethiopians. That plus 100 food and plus 100 gold you receive when you arrive to each age feels very good. So I always root for the Ethiopians because I feel like they're good enough where they should be able to do really well at the high level, but players are so good defensively and taking it late game that sometimes the Ethiopians can't quite accomplish what they wish to. What do you think about using Shotels as a raiding unit? So, I don't think you should get to a castle. I don't think you should rush a castle up just to raid. But they are a tremendous raiding unit. Like for example, you can drop a stable or two to raid at, the side of the base. You don't want to do the same with a castle. Because the castle's a lot more expensive. So I've had enough games where I'm playing mainly with archers, with the Ethiopians, and I just make a couple Shotels and send them into someone's eco. And it'll kill 5 to 10 villagers before they ever realize. And the beauty of it is you don't really need to get attack upgrades on the Shotels because they have such high base attack. So it's very nice. Okay. Both players weakening the boars with the TC. We've got 4 on wood starts for both, which normally indicates, if they already have the mill up, and they do, that there will be a barracks play. And so the key here, and I notice a lot that players at this elo will struggle with that, but the key here is going to be scouting that, right? Blue is going to run right into the town center. And scouting is definitely an area of weakness for this elo. We saw a game at this elo earlier, and it was almost the same thing. There's berries and there's wood, and it should feel obvious that the TC is right between that, but I guess it's hard to grasp that when you're actually playing. Fortunately for blue, the scout's not lost, and the scout now sees the barracks. And the scout's now going to see the gold. Yeah, Ram, it was Leary and Hera talking about Ethiopians and Empire Wars. But I think things are going to be a little bit different now. That was when Vikings were dominating all the time, right? And I think it was because Vikings had Thumb Ring and had all that eco. It'll be interesting to see where those civs shine now. Okay, so double lumber camp and no barracks yet for blue. So this tells me that blue is trying to open archers. And so to do that, you should want more on wood, which I think blue is trying to do. Red is about to click up to Feudal Age, kind of struggling, honestly. Maybe needs to drop off from the berries, and there you go. And red is also going to go archers. If red makes militia now, red does not really have the man-at-arm build order down. This is a lot more on wood than you would normally have. Man-at-arms, you would have more on food. Okay, so should be fine for archers for both of them. Blue scout is this auto scout? You see, this is something that's not going to punish blue right now. But when you see a barracks at that time, that normally indicates man-at-arms. And actually, it is going to be man-at-arms. I was wrong. That, you know, if you don't have walls up, could be a problem if you're not trying to track that. They're both auto-scouting? Blue, red, you don't even know where blue is. Like, this probably happens, right? Because, like, 8 times out of 10, they're not punished by it. And the 2 times out of 10, they're not punished because of scouting. They just resign and they start a new game. But, like, this is horribly risky from both players. So, again, if they were to ask me, T90, what can I do better? The main thing I would be mentioning is still make sure you get use out of that scout. Okay. Here come the militia. You can see what I mean. There's a lot of wood. Like, this is a big build up towards archers, it feels like. We're going to have double range from red. Now, I would like one range to start and a little bit of forward thinking in terms of your food eco here. And use that 175 wood for a few farms if you're red. But hard to get that balance down at this elo. Red doesn't even know where the enemy is right now. And so here comes the eagle. Maybe it was an auto scout. And here come the militia. And they're just going to attack the barracks. Okay. I'm a little confused. I think blue is as well. So as I mentioned before, you know, this is just not going to be well timed, I guess, economically for the man-at-arms. You could tell red wanted to go man-at-arms and got the wood upgrade and then said, shoot, I don't have the food. And so now the militia is, I guess they're just here to kill deer now. Things are looking a whole lot better for blue right now. That is if the numbers from red do not overwhelm, but red's got 2 ranges. So this is what I would consider to be low economy, high aggression, versus better economy, low aggression. Let's see what the micro looks like. The militia are still going to play a role because it's another unit that blue's going to have to micro down. Okay. This is my exact elo, and I never see people this bad. Yeah, you do. It's just that you don't have me watching. In fact, if I were to pull up one of your recorded games right now, my friend, I'm sure we all have plenty of flaws that we could see. That's just how it goes. It's really easy to sit back and say, oh, this elo's not doing this or that. At my elo, these players never make these mistakes. We're perfect. Look at this. This is interesting. So what I like about red's pressure right now is he's cutting off the reinforcements, I guess you could say. And he's also, like, kind of controlled this area and forced a lot of reactions from blue. Might even take out the range. I mean, yeah, sure, he would have wanted the man-at-arm upgrade, but he's got fletching. He's got a mix of archers and skirms. Both players going archer skirm. But this is going to end up looking a little bit better now for blue. See the militia is still playing a role. Red pulling back. Use the distraction nicely there. 10 on gold for the player that received plus 100 gold and plus 100 food at the start of this age. So I could see a market in blue's near future. Blue is really trying to get the walls down. If your opponent has skirms in this type of position, though, blue, you're really going to want to add some of your own. But the production has stalled for red, and now red's thinking, let's wall up. But still holding the hill, which is kind of nice. But must be getting a little bit worried right now. Now, something you can try in blue's position is you can leave your skirms at home. Once you've got like 5 to 6 skirms, leave your skirms at home and you can be sneaky with the archers. Especially if you've got a scout to kind of know where things are located. Now remember, Guys, we're not gonna watch. I was making a point. I'm not actually gonna cast a Charles Wreck. It's something a million people have said before. Okay, Charles. So don't be too worried about it. Wasn't trying to pick on you. Yeah, I was just gonna say sometimes if you're in Red's position, you need to kind of show your army because if they don't see you, they will sneak to your base, especially when they get walled up. Okay. 12 on food for Red. And Red is walling over here. And let's look. Wow, this is interesting, isn't it? So there's all that gold income there for Blue. Now, Blue is fighting uphill. It does have the faster firing archers and does have more numbers. But I can't help but feel like this is going to be pretty even. Your opponent's doing more damage because they're on top of the hill. And they've got a decent amount of skirmishers in here, Blue. This is not a fight you want to force. You guys are crazy. I love how Blue is keeping the units in queue all the time. Has done a much better job of that than Red. But unfortunately for Blue, the position has never really been there. Can you imagine if it was man-at-arm archer? Like, Blue would have had some big problems. But then again, like, one person went for that, and then that person had worse eco, at least initially. I have to say, they're both pretty solid with their micro. This is also a situation, though, where if you're Blue, you've got enough skirms where you could probably just send your archers somewhere else if you wanted to. Maybe it's too late. Red has really done a good job of walling, controlling this game, getting wheelbarrow now. And that eco balance for Blue is something else. But could be assisted by the market. Also, Tootin' Crutin', what's up? Charles says I ban Arabia and Arena when I queue. Gotcha. Well, you know, I think, like, the point is like, I actually think that Red and Blue have really looked better in mid-feudal than they did in Dark Age, honestly. Like, I think they've really, they're starting to feel more at home now. But, you know, when I'm watching, when it's being cast, and we've got the bird's eye view, it's really easy to look at situations and say, oh, that doesn't happen in my games. But in reality, I think if you were to break down your own Rex and watch opponents, it probably does. Elo doesn't lie, right? If I or you or anybody's playing better than this Elo, then the Elo would probably reflect that. So uptimes are going to be the same. Eco KD 0-0. TC idle time, there's a 28-second difference. KD, there's a 2-kill difference. And we do have villagers on stone for Falco. So I think Falco's thinking about the Showtail Warriors I talked about earlier. Now, do you need to do that? No, you don't. Do I hate it? I also don't. No, that's not bad. Ranged army here's 5 skirms, 11 archers. Here you've got 12 archers, 4 skirms, so that's very close. So it'll probably be elite skirmisher and also... No way that tree is going to be chopped. Oh my god. Red is the unluckiest 1200 elo player alive. Oh my god. Look at Blue. Blue's like, okay, is there a hole? Let me click through. Now don't attack the buildings, Blue. Don't attack the buildings. Click through. Don't attack the houses. Don't you stop. Okay, never mind. Never mind. The units will automatically attack, so... And now Red sees that and places the house and sends the units back in. Can you imagine, though, if Blue ran in there? Oof. So this is a bit tricky, right? Because 5 skirms is not going to handle 20 units. But now look at Blue. This is funny. Blue's scared. Blue's like... Okay, he's going to try and chase me down. So let's run back to the hill and we'll wait for our upgrades. Because Red hit Castle Age first. Blue doesn't see that army. And Red doesn't see that army. And they're going to meet in the middle. Now, the first thing that Red clicked was Elite Skirm because Red wants these skirms to be upgraded to deal with that attack. Interesting. Okay, Blue takes the fight. This is still a Feudal Age army for Red. Now skirms are coming in, though. There's only 5 of them. And crossbow is a bit more delayed than Red would have wanted here because now Blue has crossbow. And now the skirms are separated from the group. And this is not going to feel too nice. And I think red is just going to give up on this army now. Oh, man, that's a painful situation there for red. Like, all because blue chose to move out, and then red made a couple mistakes in the process. Okay. Elite Skirm paying off. Blue a little uncertain on what to do against that. And maybe blue, you need to back away here. But if you do have the hill against Skirms that don't have the Castle Age armor, you could always still take a fight. Could have been GG there. We've now got the second TC now for red. Look at this Aztec eco. Look at that food income. Woof. Blue, do it for the people. You know you want to. Drop that castle forward. That's super risky against Elite Skirm. Like, I could easily be saying, why do that? Oh, man! Okay, so, chat, what is your elo? And do you have auto farm on as default throughout the whole game? Yes or no? I'm going to eventually make a video on this topic. This is actually a really good game. I probably will forget this example, but... I'm not going to say you're right or wrong. I'm not going to pick on you. I'm just curious. Like, is auto farm default for you? And what is your elo? Because you can toggle that on and off. 1050, yes. 1200, turn it on mid-castle. 1150, 90%. 800, yes. Okay. 950, yes. 1150, yes. Lots of yeses. Okay. What if I told you that, at least if you play archers a lot, that having auto farm on could be losing you games? Would you believe that statement? Or would you think I'm crazy? 1800 default, says Emperor. Okay. All right. So look at red's economy for a second. I just to prove my point. So red could have maybe thought, I want a university. Could have maybe thought, I want 3 TCs. Could have maybe thought, I want Siege Workshop. So Aztec economy is insane. But if you have auto farm on when you're playing into archers, this is what happens sometimes. Now, I know a lot of you guys probably have a market and you might sell some of that and buy stuff. But having it on can sometimes be the difference between 16 army and 30 army. Or be the difference between getting upgrades or not getting upgrades or having buildings times. Now, that's a lot of things to think about. So I think for a lot of people, they're just like, well, screw that. I'm not even going to like worry about it because it's just too complicated. But it's just food for thought. It can hurt you. Like, I actually... So it's not like I've always had mine off. I actually had mine on for a couple months. And I recently turned it off. And I rose back up to 2K3. Then I took a vacation and lost 8 games in a row. So who knows what it was. But man, look at this pressure from Falco here. So Falco has fewer villagers. But Falco's got a castle up in a position where there's more stone right next to it. Yeah, my suggestion, by the way, would be, you know, on the whole auto farm topic, it's not bad, but turn it on in, like, mid-castle would be my suggestion. If you can manage having to manually reseed farms and balancing that. Some of you guys are just like, you know what, I'm happy where I'm at, thank you. Let's not give me any tips. I don't need it, I'm fine. Right. But yeah, it leads to you having less wood than you would want, but so does not getting horse collar, which is something red has forgotten here. What an awkward spot for red, but red's holding. Red's sitting behind the ranges, red has siege, red has skirm, red has crossbow. And if I were red right now, I would go over to stone and I would think about imp with the defensive castle so I could treb this down. It's interesting, blue's got so many villagers on stone, but hasn't really done a lot with showtells yet. To be fair, showtells have very low pierce armor, so crossbows would kill them. I think blue's going to try and raid in a second. Now, remember what I mentioned earlier. For a unit that gets 16 attack already, getting it forging is not really that important. I think it'd be better to spend 100 food and just get armor. Like, what? How much extra attack is that adding percentage-wise? Getting +1 attack on a unit that gets 16 attack already. It's not a ton. I'm actually curious if that makes a difference in how many hits it takes to get bill kills. Because, like, with knights, getting forging, for example, is a really nice upgrade because it can lead to 1 fewer hit to kill a villager. Okay, ballistics for red. Red's going to run out with the crossbows, probably for a counterattack. Or maybe knows the show tells are there. Yep, now knows the show tells are there. So let's see what forging can do. Nothing. Armor would have been really nice. Skirms are here. Another castle from blue. But ballistics is in for these skirms. That is a lot of crossbows, though. Oh, man. I don't know. I guess in the end, the castle will go up for blue, which is what blue wants to accomplish here. Also, the Shotel warriors could always sneak in. Yeah, it does depend, Emperor. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Everything depends. But yeah, that castle is going to go up here. Okay, this situation with these resources should be screaming go imp right now if you're red. Blue is doing a really nice job at producing villagers behind this. Those castles are going to make red's life so awkward. And, oh, man, the skirms are all withering away. Red is falling apart. I think red was house walling behind this, which is why red lost the army on the front. The beauty of raids, right? Oh, God. Oh, my God. Blue's a beast. Look at that split. God tier micro. Kind of. Sort of. Okay, backing up to the castle. Oh, the Shotels made it in. How, though? Oh, there was a hole there. See, just like that, a couple of villagers go down. Resources are looking good for red. Red still hasn't clicked up. Would have loved to counterattack with those crossbows. And now red clicks up to imp. Again, like we mentioned, you're going to want... Oh, God, blue, you're a crazy person. You're crazy in all the worst and best kind of ways at the same time. Please don't lose your entire army. Please don't lose your entire army to this. Okay. What I love about Blue's play is how Blue's constantly being aggressive. Oh, God. But, like, maybe this is a bit much. Oh, the Shotels made it into the wood line, too. Dang. This is awesome. This is a great way to play Ethiopians. Lots of military focus. Shotels for some raids. We're not seeing the Shotels versus Eagles, which is something that can sometimes happen. But look at how effective those Shotels have been. And red might be on the way to the Imperial Age, but blue's crossbow mass is still insane. Blue's got so many more villagers now. And blue's living the dream with 2 castles on the hill. This is great. Still a lot of skirms for red. Obviously, red will probably get imp upgrades. There's still a risk for blue that this could be thrown, because if you lose your entire army and your opponent's an imp faster, lots of things can happen. But there's still a minute, and now blue has added some siege. And look how good the crossbows do, even against skirmishers, when the skirmishers don't have the final armor. And the Shotel! Dang, that's so cool, man. This is kind of what we had talked about at the start of the game, is mixing in a couple Shotel warriors to raid. That's awesome. Really sneaky, too, right? Like, broken here, even I didn't notice that. I'm not sure getting the Castle Age stone mining upgrade is worth it. I guess it does depend. Like, oh, God, the split micro from blue. Well done. Very well done. Blue might freak out a little bit. Red's going to get Arbalest and Bracer. There's only 7 crossbows, about to be 8, though, and only 13 skirms. And you still don't have a castle to be able to make trebs and push this area. Blue now obviously panicked and is going to sell the stone, probably try and buy food and just get up to the Imperial Age. The hero Shotel is still there. And blue is pulling back. Red, you've got to counterattack, my friend. You've got to counterattack now. Do some damage. Now, if you're up against the Britons, nice split micro. Yeah, blue knows how to play archers, that's for sure. Bad time to say that. If you're up against the Britons, going like ram rush against the castle is good, because the Briton unique unit is not good against rams. If you're up against any civ that doesn't have a melee unique unit, going rams is good. Oh, God. Blue knows how to play archers all right. if you're up against a civilization that's going archers but has something like a Showtail warrior or berserk or anything along those lines, you have to think more. You have to question the ram choice a little bit more. So red, you really hate stone that much. Okay, market, house wall, stone mining. But red, just avoid those castles. Avoid those castles. Go into blue's base. Blue would have some big problems. It's very tunnel vision. This is still winnable for red with this army composition. But if blue doesn't allow you to get any free kills, you're just going to end up sitting here attacking an archery range. Yeah, I guess Tukano and Magadai are kind of the exception. Wow, Siege Ram, though? Before there's even a single ram on the field? What? But yeah, I mean, Red's thinking about it, I'm sure. Right? Like, Red's like, I need more arbs. Now, if you're in Blue's position and you're worried about a ram rush, you can add Siege behind your castle as well. Dang, okay. So, this is where Ethiopians become more awkward because the Showtail warriors are not, or just a raiding unit, and their stable units are pretty weak. So what you would want is you'd want to have Siege if you're Ethiopians, like Onager or something. Arbalest is on the way. Red's finding some confidence to move out. But now the timing's bad, right? Because, oh God, Blue, you're going to get rocked. Oh, baby, let's go. Red one for the attack round. Oh, important moment in this game, guys. Will Blue chase this or not? I think Blue is going to chase this. I think Blue... Oh, there's been a hole there the whole game. I think Blue's going to see that and say, that's not good, and freak out. And then it just does give Red an opportunity to maybe ram the castles down. Wow, what a game. And what a recovery from Red. Red's a fighter, man. Red is an absolute fighter. The skirms have decent upgrades. Obviously, no chemistries come in for either player. Bracer's just now on the way in for Blue. But there's exposed eco everywhere. And Red, what do I always say? The further you run into their base, the more they have to chase you, which gives you opportunities elsewhere. And, oh, this is the perfect time to try and take out those castles. I think Red's scared, though. I think Red's going to run away now, which is actually kind of smart, too, because at least Blue has still come home. Red's distracted. There go the Rams. And now Blue's going to need some Showtail warriors. You need to make a couple Showtails, and a couple Showtails could defend this. So Red could now make a castle. There's the Showtails from Blue. Red is a bit housed. Blue now running back forward. Red's army count is not as high as Blue's. The Showtail warriors, can they save this castle? They've got 18 attack with some of those upgrades, and they will be able to save this castle just barely, I think. Again, against any other civ, maybe you can't do that. But, wow, that's impressive. Very well played from Blue. Nice recovery. Now all the fight's going to go down in the middle of the map, which is precisely where the Ethiopians will want it. Aztecs do not get the final armor upgrade for their skirmishers. And it's that lack of pierce armor that's always a big talking point when you're up against archers, and it's looking better and better for Blue now. I think Blue can do it from here, but as I say that, Blue's taking a fight that might not be too hot. I guess Blue does have the hill, though. Castle's not being repaired, but who cares? The Showtail warriors are here. Red's adding more army there, but the Showtails will mop it up. Red's also losing his army here, and I think Red could get raided over here as well. That might be the end. It is the end. That was a nice little back and forth game. Okay, so here's my tip, all right? So for Red, unfortunately, timing in Castle Age, man, I got to be quick because I got to take a big pee. I had to pee all day, and I haven't done it. Okay, so unfortunately for Red, this is the moment that probably changed the entire game. There was a lot of things that happened, but to be in Castle Age faster and then have crossbowmen after your opponent is just the most glaring thing that needs to be talked about here, honestly. Like this should have been a clear, right? Prioritized elite skirms, understandably so, I guess, went this way. But you still have to get that crossbowman upgrade in time and be able to take a fight there that is better than it was. If you do that, then you're going to have control of the map. Remember, like, right about here is where blue wanted to drop the castle on the front. And I think the positioning of the castle changed the game more than the Showtells did. And the Showtells were allowed to do what they did because of the positioning. It's like blue is producing out of these ranges. Red didn't produce any skirms out of this entire time, too. So, like, that's another thing where this probably doesn't go up if red was producing all the time and just took a better fight. But, I mean, like, overall, I think it was a really competitive game. I think, like, when you've got forward castles on your face, it doesn't matter if you've got a Feudal Age, it doesn't matter if you're Aztecs, it always gets awkward. And blue did a really good job with the Showtell raids and eventually just held on. Yeah, I like that game a lot. I mean, red could have been on stone a little bit faster. A couple more upgrades could have been more well-timed, but it's 1200 elo, and it just shows you how much depth this game has and how good these players can be. Wow, look at that. That is the end game statistics. That is wild to me. 40,435 resources collected. 40,467 resources collected. I'm trying to do the math. That is, quick math, 32 resource difference between these two. Unfortunately for red, like, you're focused heavily on skirmishers with a civilization that doesn't get the final armor. And you not getting the final armor against a civ that has faster firing archers means that you are going to go down faster than you would expect. But yeah, well played. Hope these two learned a lot from it. You know, like from the Dark Age to the Feudal Age, they were kind of rough around the edges, but then they both just felt at home in Castle and played that one very well.